we have offered this year for the first time a course, Elementary Wapishan. This course is geared towards non-speakers of the Wapishan language. Anybody who wants to learn one of our indigenous languages, you can now have a course at UG. Just yesterday, we have approved a follow-up course to that, which is Exploring Wapishan, because we have speakers of the language who are yes, they may speak the language, but they don't necessarily understand the intricacies of the language and how it is that this language works, and even the cultural situation, how the language works, right? So we have that course that was only approved yesterday, so I'm quite pleased about that. Also approved yesterday is a new course which we have as Elementary Creolese. I'll tell you a bit about that, but before I do, well, let me go into it. Elementary Creolese is a course that is designed for non-speakers of Creolese. So over the years, and more so now, we have people coming into Guyana and they are not speakers of the language. They don't know Creolese. However, Creolese is the language that the general society use for daily communication. So in order to be integrated well, there is a need to speak Creolese. And as I mentioned earlier, the fact that teachers now are encouraged to use this language, it means that immigrant children are also encouraged to speak this language. So having a course where we target non-speakers, and even some Guyanese may want to do this course because they are themselves not fluent Creole speakers, or they could speak somewhat, but they don't know about reading and writing. So this course will target that. But we do have a course that we have been offering for some years now, Exploring Guyanese Creole. And that course, we look at the structure of the language, where we explore from the sound systems, how words are formed, how these form sentences, how the sentences are used for cultural integration and all, looking at all the different varieties that of Creolese language that are spoken in Guyana and so forth. So this course is really a deep dive into the language of the Guyanese populace. In terms of the varieties, as was raised yesterday, which variety are we targeting? We're not targeting any variety in particular, because Guyana is a vast space with multiple varieties. So the people in Essequibo probably will be able to do this course similar to those in Berbice. What we do is to speak in general terms about how the different varieties work and the different lexical items you may have. And we also note that we have, based on probably social stratification and other means, different varieties where you have the more Creole, African retention, Indian retention, which is referred to as the basilectal. So you could tell us, Carolyn, about the different varieties.
Sure. So we have many different varieties, and of course it depends on where you are, who are your influences, which community you grew up in, right? So for example, in predominantly Indian communities, you might hear a variety, certain kind of variety. Whereas in another Indian community, you might hear it similar, or it could be slightly different. And in the rural areas, especially, like Dr. Lisa mentioned, Berbice, for example, and not all over, but specific parts, you hear more rural basilectal Creole. So the Creole is on a continuum that moves from the basilect, right, to the acrolect,
Mhm.